We might be preparing to deliver the most mind-blowing and unexpected storyline of 2025, a storyline so electrifying, it could redefine modern wrestling. Imagine the unthinkable: Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and CM Punk, three of the biggest, most controversial, and most iconic names in WWE today, joining forces to form a new version of the Shield. Their sole purpose? To take down Seth Rollins' dominant new faction at SummerSlam in what could easily become the most intense and unforgettable main event in years. This isn't just fantasy booking, it's the kind of epic scenario that could shake the wrestling world to its core. Picture this: WWE is being overrun by a ruthless alliance led by Seth Rollins, alongside the unstoppable Braun Breaker and powerhouse Bronson Reed, all under the strategic genius of Paul Heyman. No single superstar has managed to slow them down. The faction is wreaking havoc week after week, leaving a trail of destruction and dominance. But what if Triple H, in a dramatic power move, reaches out to Reigns, Rhodes, and Punk, bitter rivals with tangled histories, and convinces them to unite, if only for one night? The stakes are enormous, and the odds are stacked, but the idea of these three combustible personalities putting aside their animosities for a common goal is absolutely thrilling. The history between them is messy. Reigns once ruled WWE as the tribal chief, only to have his empire collapse. Rhodes, the man who dethroned him, still burns with unfinished business with Rollins from their intense WrestleMania clashes. CM Punk, the voice of the voiceless, thrives in chaos and would relish the opportunity to bring down Heyman's latest creation. But trust would be fragile. Reigns might still resent Rhodes for taking his title. Punk, never one to follow the rules, could turn on either of them at any moment. The alliance would be volatile, unpredictable, and completely captivating. Now imagine the moment it all begins. Rollins and his faction stand tall after another brutal beatdown, laughing and taunting the crowd as if they own WWE. Suddenly, the lights cut out. The entire arena is plunged into darkness. The audience holds its breath. Then, over the speakers, the unmistakable words: Echo, Sierra, Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta. The Shield's theme blares through the arena. But it's not Ambrose or Rollins who appear. It's Roman Reigns walking through the smoke. Right behind him, Cody Rhodes emerges. Then CM Punk steps out. All three clad in black tactical gear, their fists clenched and raised. The arena erupts in shock and excitement. Rollins' cocky smile vanishes. Heyman looks stunned. Triple H appears on the stage, silently nodding, signaling that war has begun. This would be more than just a match. It would be a psychological war. Heyman and his faction would stop at nothing to expose every weakness in this unstable trio. Mind games, backstage ambushes, manipulation, they do everything to split Reigns, Rhodes, and Punk before they even make it to SummerSlam. The drama would be off the charts. Every week, fans would tune in, not just to see the matches, but to see whether this fragile alliance can survive its own internal tension. Could they make it to the big stage without imploding? Could these three alphas actually coexist under one banner? If WWE dares to bring this story to life, it could become one of the most legendary storylines ever told in professional wrestling. The emotional stakes, the unpredictability, the sheer star power involved, every element is in place for a historic showdown. This isn't just a dream match, it's a dream saga filled with betrayal, redemption, and chaos. And if it happens, SummerSlam would go down as one of the most talked about events in WWE history. Would you want to see this epic alliance come to life? Who would be the first to betray the group? Could they even trust each other enough to stand united? Let us know your predictions in the comments, and make sure you're following every second of the ride, because if this storyline kicks off, it's going to be the wildest ride WWE has offered in years. WWE may be on the verge of crafting the most shocking, thrilling, and unforgettable storyline in recent memory, a storyline that could redefine the landscape of sports entertainment in 2025. What if, against all odds and expectations, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and CM Punk, three of the most dominant, controversial, and polarizing figures in wrestling today, come together, not as enemies, but as unlikely allies? What if these three icons are brought under one banner to reform a new version of the Shield, not for legacy, not for glory, but for vengeance and justice? Their target, a dangerous, out-of-control faction led by Seth Rollins, alongside two of WWE's most promising and destructive forces, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. If this fantasy booking becomes reality, SummerSlam could feature the most explosive, emotionally charged main event WWE has seen in years. Let's set the stage. WWE is in chaos. Paul Heyman, the master manipulator behind some of wrestling's most legendary stables, has assembled a new powerhouse faction. Seth Rollins, now more unhinged and cunning than ever, stands as the leader, flanked by the raw strength and youthful aggression of Braun Breaker and the sheer brutality of Bronson Reed. Together, they've run roughshod over Raw and SmackDown, leaving a trail of fallen superstars and shattered egos in their wake. No champion feels safe. No alliance can contain them. Fans watch week after week as this trio steamrolls through every challenge, gloating with every victory, declaring themselves the future and the present of WWE. But then comes the twist. Behind the scenes, Triple H watches this descent into chaos and decides it's time for a game-changing move. Not just a counterattack, but a seismic shift. What if, in a moment of strategic brilliance and desperation, he reaches out to three men, with nothing in common, but one thing, a deep, burning desire to see Rollins and Heyman's faction destroyed? What if he proposes the unthinkable, reforming the Shield, not with its original members, but with three of the most explosive and combustible personalities in WWE history? Roman Reigns, the former tribal chief, who once ruled WWE with an iron fist and now seeks to reclaim his throne. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, whose WrestleMania war with Rollins left scars, both physical and emotional. And CM Punk, the rebellious icon, the voice of the voiceless, who's never been afraid to burn everything down if it means getting what he wants. These three men have fought wars against each other. They've traded championships, insults, and betrayals. They have decades of unresolved animosity. But if they can set all of that aside even for one night, the result could be legendary. Now imagine the moment when everything changes. Rollins and his faction have just decimated another opponent, standing tall in the ring, mocking the crowd, declaring that there is no one left to challenge them. Suddenly, the lights go out. The arena is pitch black. A hush falls over the crowd. Then, through the darkness, that iconic phrase echoes: Sierra, Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta. The Shield's music hits. The place erupts. But this time, it's not Dean Ambrose or the original trio. It's Roman Reigns, stepping out first, expression cold, focused. Behind him, Cody Rhodes appears, eyes locked on the ring. And then, to complete the trio, CM Punk walks out, smirking with chaotic energy. All three wear black tactical vests, marching down the ramp, fists clenched and raised. The crowd goes absolutely wild. Rollins' face twists from smug to stunned. Heyman looks like he's seen a ghost. Triple H stands on the stage, nodding silently. The message is clear, it's war. But this alliance wouldn't come without its problems. Reigns, Rhodes, and Punk each have their own agendas, their own egos, their own deep-seated issues. Can Reigns truly trust the man who took his title at WrestleMania? Can Cody Rhodes believe that Punk won't stab them both in the back the moment it suits him? And can Punk, ever the loner and anarchist, truly work with two men he's had open contempt for? Every promo, every backstage segment, every tag team match would be laced with tension. One misstep could blow everything apart. Heyman, ever the tactician, would know this. His faction would push every button, plant every seed of doubt. They'd mock the new Shield's fragile alliance, baiting them into fights, playing on their insecurities. One week, they might attack Rhodes and blame Reigns for not showing up. The next, they'd leak backstage footage of Punk talking trash about his partners. Meanwhile, fans around the world would be watching closely, wondering when the betrayal will come. Could these three truly make it to SummerSlam without combusting? And if they do make it, if they somehow stay together long enough to stand united in the main event, the match itself would be nothing short of legendary. A six-man tag match with personal stakes, career legacies, and WWE's future hanging in the balance. The action would be brutal. Every move would have weight. Every stare down would tell a story. Reigns vs. Rollins. Rhodes vs. Breaker. Punk vs. Reed. And every